Hello, my name's Stephen from K-Scale Models, and today I'm doing a quick talk on 3D printing small parts. Now, this was suggested to me by Joshua. Now, Joshua is about to go into resin 3D printing and he wants to know what do you do for small parts. Well, this is probably what he's had to do. He's had to orientate parts in all different directions. He's probably had to change the nozzle size. Yeah, it's not like that on resin printer. Resin printer, you will find that generally it will print. So there is though limitations. So the first one is if you make a part less than 0.2 millimeters, it probably will not work for a variety of reasons. The most notable being, well, first, it may not print because of how resin works, but it's also likely to be too fragile to actually survive. So, yeah, don't do that. You can get away with it, and there is times I've broken the rules. This is the Frieden's wing from Gundam X. You will see that this is absolutely tiny, 0.09 millimeters. That printed on my Mars 2 Pro. Now, there's much higher definition printers these days, and better resins and all that. But yeah, I would only suggest doing this if you have a lot of other material round about it to take the strain or any force that's applied to this, because it won't generally work in otherwise. And also print these sort of things vertically. It will mean getting supports off are easier, and the supports are coming off the bottom here, which is a larger amount of material going up. Yeah, generally it works better that way. So, okay, on to actual small parts. So, I'm using the Chung here as an example. Now, this is kind of getting into one of the problems that draftsmen always have encountered. This is from the pen and paper stage right up until today's date. This is how big the object is on their screen or their bit of paper. So how big is this in reality? Well, I've measured it up. It's just over 5 centimeters, about 53 millimeters. That's tiny. This is... You can't really tell that from looking at this. So you can easily get into a state where you are modeling very small details. Like, we'll use this gun as an example. All these small details, and they don't work because they're so small and they're impractical. Give you an idea of how impractical they were. This was all separate parts. There was 4 parts to this turret. The main body, this sensor, the ammo box at the back, and this light. So, what happened? This went ping, this broke, and I gave up by the time I got around to that one. So this model had to get redesigned with everything as one part because it wouldn't work any other way. So as you can see, this is not optimal for 3D printing. There's bits overhanging all over the place. It's a nasty thing to actually print. But there wasn't much option when I did this. So yeah, it's a mess. But that gives you an idea of the compromises. And again, I'm not the best modeler, as in not 3D, well, I'm good at that, but when it comes to actually assembling a kit, there's a reason why I like Bandai kits. This is the level I'm at if it comes to painting and assembly. I am not the best. See, the paint's massive, like thick, and these lines, yeah, terrible. But you get the idea. When you make something, make it for your sort of level of being able to assemble it. If you balk at photo etch parts, well, photo etch is normally somewhere between about 0.2 to 0.3 millimeters. Might want to avoid parts that are that thin. That's only about a millimeter, as I said, long. So where you can, try to merge parts like that onto this. What I should have done here is I probably should have extended that back, and unchamfered this bit here, because that would make this easier to print. But this model is a couple of years old now. I'm not coming back to it. But you get the idea. Sometimes small bits are difficult to work with because they're just that small. In those cases, just merge them if you can. If you absolutely need to have this as its own little separate ammo box, then print more than one. Because you can do that on a resin printer. You can print off a whole bunch of them. If you watched my previous video, you know that if you're printing off multiple of one thing on the same build plate, you're generally saving yourself a lot of hassle, because it's just the way that resin printers work. They print things in parallel rather than in series, which is kind of how an FDM printer works. It does each layer individually. Oh, it does each part individually, then moves up a layer. Resin printers, everything gets done at once and then moves up a layer. So you're not costing yourself anything real more, and you get an extra part. And if you are thinking of selling your prints, then do this as well, because you do not want a customer to come back to you and say, "Oh, I need this bit, it broke," because then you have to go print a special order for them. Whilst if you've made a couple of extra and stuck them in the kit, they're going to go, "Oh, I broke that bit. Wait, wasn't there a second part of that in the box? Oh yes, there was. Brilliant." So they don't have to come to you and ask for a spare bit, and you will learn when you're making kits, like your own models, what bits break, what bits do you need the second part of, because yeah, it goes wrong. So I hope you find that all interesting and informative, and I'll catch you next time.